Hi, for Fiona this time. In regards to your process, do you do your work digitally? Because you just mentioned Photoshop. So
yeah, I do it all digitally. So.
And it's like on a Wacom or sometimes?
Yeah, I use a Cintiq. I have like a 21-inch Cintiq that I use for everything. And yeah, I don't think I've physically penciled and inked comics since like 2007.
That is the future. That's crazy. So no original pages to sell.
No original pages.
Sorry.
No.
So that being said, also in regards to my last question is because there's fantasy and there's technology, and so what are your, I guess, influences? What comes to your mind when you're thinking of? Do you think of Gene Roddenberry, or do you think of like Flash Gordon type, you know, technology?
This is slightly embarrassing, but I think of the Final Fantasy games. I think they really integrate magic and tech in a really cool, seamless way, and pretty much every game in that series has really beautiful design work. And I just eat up the concept art and, you know, the character and environment designs from that series. So that's probably been a big influence, whether it's visible or not, I don't know.
Thank you.
I have two questions. One of them, the first one is, are her wings functional? And secondly, are the wings like intrinsic to like her race and like her people type thing? Or is that just like, you know, her thing?
Yeah, well, the cool thing is we found that there's these two worlds, landfall and reef, and everyone has horns on one planet, everyone has wings on the other planet, but they're not all the same kind of wings, the same kind of horns. So I just sort of wanted a visual shorthand that immediately if you saw a character, you would know which side they were on. Each character could look completely different from one another, and whether or not her creepy flying wings are useful, you'll have to wait and see.
My second question was, as you mentioned, you know, there were, you know, two races sort of at war. So where are they looking like? Are they hiding on like one of the, you know, worlds? Or they're, you know, at some, you know, some far off neutral land?
Yeah, I think we can spill about this. So landfall is where Alana is from. It's a big, huge world. It's the biggest world in this galaxy. And Reef is its only moon. And this moon and planet have been fighting forever, for so long they don't even really remember why. But they've kind of outsourced their fighting, and so a lot of the battles take place on faraway alien worlds. And so I sort of, you know, I think it's for a lot of people here in the United States, I think similar, the war is going on sort of in our name, and we're maybe not always aware of it or thinking about it. So that's kind of the universe that this is in.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
Thank you.
It makes much more sense in the book, I promise. It comes out way more dramatic. It sounds insane as I'm trying to describe
There's
it.
diagrams in the book.
Yeah, tell you, we literally don't worry. It's sort of the fun thing I wanted to do with having a narrator is to have someone to sort of hold your hand and walk you through it and tell you what you need. So, yeah, you'll find out all about this universe. Hi.
Hi. On those same lines, does class play a big part in this war? And is one of the planets rich and the other one poor?
Yes, very much so. And yeah, I really wanted to talk about that. Not just, you know, I think both planets have, some people are wealthy and some are not. But I always like, you know, talking about the people who maybe aren't necessarily wealthy. And these guys are both grunts in their sort of respective armies and came from humble backgrounds, as we'll find out. But yes, class and yes, it's going to play a very big part of the story. I hope that's good.
A lot of your work has a lot of very much political influences. So what's lately been influencing your story in this series?
I mean, I guess just life in general. You know, I never, you know, it is not a preachy pamphlet that I'm trying to do. So it's not like I love Rush Limbaugh or Bill Maher. You know, I really don't like either, I guess, of those sides. I like, yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm answering this inarticulately because I don't know how I feel about books, which is why I write these books to try and maybe find out what's going on. So I guess everything that's going on in the universe is influencing me, and this is what comes out.
What was the reason for choosing a narrator? It's something you don't really see a lot in comics nowadays.
Yeah, I think I realized I haven't even Runaways or Why the Last Man or X-Men. I don't think I've ever written a single line of narration. And I guess I just wanted to push myself to do something different, maybe something that you can only do in comics. Yeah, I wasn't sure if I'd stick with it, but I'm enjoying it. It's fun. And I get to have sort of this hearing the grown-up child's perspective laid over these scenes, I think is very cool. So.
And is it throughout the whole issues?
Yeah, it sort of comes and goes, but whenever I want it to be there, and then when sort of action picks up, she falls away.
You said you wanted it to be an ongoing story. When you came up with it, did you have an end to your story?
Yeah, and so, yes, I do. I know what the ending of the story is, but there are many different ways to get there, I suppose. But it's sort of like Why the Last Man, where I always knew what that final shot of Why the Last Man was going to be, but, some things changed along the way. But yeah, I always like to start with some kind of ending. Do you guys want to hear what the ending is? Or?
And then how much input does the artist have for the story? I mean, because you're following the story along the way, and if you have thoughts.
Yeah, I don't know story, but I just take
You are more than welcome to. I trust her opinion 100%.
I'd rather not interfere, honestly. I'm just happy to, I'm thrilled when I get a new script. It's a treat to read them. It's like watching the new episode of your favorite TV show, but way better.
This is the happiest I've ever been. As a writer,
the scripts themselves are very, very entertaining.
But she's also being humble, because it's not true. Even her design work has changed the direction of the story. So little things she's thrown to the backgrounds, to the panels that have made this world more real. I think you've already influenced the story way more than you're giving yourself credit for.